What's up, guys? My name's Levi, and I'm from Shred Shop, connecting you to skateboarding. Today, we're going to learn 14 things you didn't know about shorties. In this episode, we're going to talk about Tony Biolos, Chad Muska, Rosa, Fulfil the Dream, and so much more. Tony Biolos. Tony Biolos was a sponsored skateboarder from Santa Barbara, California. Tony started his first business venture. He decided to start a skateboard company. You might have heard of it. It was called Small Room. He started it in Los Osos, California, with his friend Louis Carlton. It didn't last very long, but they had a number of great skateboarders riding for them. At that time, all skateboard hardware was really long because it was meant for riser pads, big trucks, a lot of that kind of stuff. And so he had an idea. I want to make different hardware that is the right size and that is lighter and easier to use. With this idea, he wanted to make better hardware. So his girlfriend at the time, April Hamrick, in their bedroom in 1992, with only $200, they started Shorty's Hardware. At that time, there wasn't very much competition in the hardware game, so he was able to make a stacked team for Shorty's Hardware. Chad Muska. Chad Muska had a rough upbringing. They were moving around a lot, kind of in rougher areas, and he went to 12 different schools before he was in grade 6. Chad eventually moves to San Diego, where he meets Jamie Thomas, and then starts riding for Toy Machine Skateboards. After filming a major part for Toy Machine's Welcome to Hell, Chad and Ed Templeton, Toy Machine's owner, have a falling out. His part gets pulled. If you want to find more out about that and why that happened, check out our video, 14 Things You Didn't Know About Toy Machine. At that same time, Chad's name is blowing up. People know who he is. While Chad is trying to figure out what board company to ride for, Tony B, owner of Shorty's Hardware, flies Chad Muska out to Santa Barbara and talks to him and says, listen, I've got a great idea for a board company. I want you to ride for it. Offers him a ton of money and creative control. Chad has a decision to make. Chad Muska said that the flip deal was enticing because he could have been the first American rider on flip skateboards. But he ultimately decided to go with Shorty's and Tony over there because of the money and the creative control, being able to be involved in the team in the videos. Shortys Skateboards. After that meeting, Chad decides to go with the brand and they officially start Shortys Skateboards. Muska has the task of creating the team for the brand. The first team rider that Chad adds to the team is Steve Olsen. Steve and Chad became homies while they were both on different brands, Foundation and Toy Machine, under the Tumieto umbrella. They hung out and Steve was actually Chad's favorite skater, so he brought him over to Shortys Skateboards. After that, he added Brandon Turner and Peter Smolik. Shortly after that, he adds Aaron Snyder. While building the team, Tony B had 2 kids in mind for the AM team. They're both from Santa Barbara, and so he ran them by Chad. Chad checked them out and decided that these were the guys. One of them being Sammy Baptista, and the other one being Jessey Silve. And at this time, Muska is rising to his pinnacle, to his peak, and he's bringing shortings with him. It's blowing up. Rosa. Rosa is skateboarding's first and only pinup girl. She's born and raised in Santa Barbara, so she's a local to where the brand started. Tony Biolos had an idea. He wanted to make an ad with a pinup girl, kind of like how the car girls were posing on cars and things like that. He wanted to do the same thing, but with Shorty's Hardware. Tony B had this idea as a spoof, kind of a spin-off or a joke to poke fun at the way these ads were done in the car world. Tony Biolos called around to a few skate shops, asking around if anyone knew of a girl that could be used in these ads. Eventually, one shop put up a girl's name, Rosa. After hearing the original offer, Rosa decided not to do it. But then she met Tony B and April, and she liked them so much and loved where the brand was heading that she decided that she would do it. She'd do the ads. So the first Rosa ad was in the 2nd edition of Big Brother magazine. Rosa was 18 when this first ad came out, and she got paid $100 to do it. That means if she was there at the beginning, she would have owned half of Shorty's. After the ad came out, Rosa kind of started to build a bit of a cult following. She was intertwined in the ads, the videos, t-shirts even, and people started to associate Rosa with the brand and the brand with Rosa. They were one and the same. Following this, in an interview with Skateboarder magazine, Rosa was quoted saying that she used to get paid $300 for a 1-page ad, $600 for a 2-page ad, and $1,000 for a poster. After this, she started to get royalties for the videos she was in, and $1 per t-shirt sold that she was on. One year, she said she made over $20,000 from all the money coming in for this. She said she used the money for traveling and then as well to put towards her degree, which she got in teaching. Over the years, she said she got offers from a bunch of different brands. One of these brands included World Industries, who were constantly trying to buy her out. Some notes on some of her ads. She said in some of the famous ads, one of them being probably the most famous, she was laying in a bathtub full of bowls. She said that she was laying there for over an hour and a half and it was crazy uncomfortable. She said that her least favorite ad that she ever did with them was her Utopia ad, and her most favorite was the Guaranteed for Life ad. Shortys Snowboards. An interesting fact is that Shortys actually had a short-lived, quick snowboard career. They decided to put out snowboards, but they only did it for one season for 1 year. Their team was actually pretty stacked. They had Chris Brown, Kevin Young, Dion De La Salle, Devun Walsh, and more. This here is a collector's item of a Kevin Young Pro Shorty snowboard. If you look close to the logo, one of the funny things is it has a weird resemblance to the Osiris logo. It's not the same as the skateboard logo. After their brief stint in snowboarding, Shortys decided to quit that game and focus on Shorty skateboards entirely. The Shortys hardware video. In 1997, Shortys releases their first video, the Shortys hardware video. It features lots of big names like Rick McCrank, Rune Glifberg, Eric Dressen, Richard Angelides, Dave Mayhew, Chad Muska, and many more. Fulfil the Dream. Fulfil the Dream is one of the most iconic skateboard videos of the 90s. Something you might not know about Fulfil the Dream is that April Hamrick, one of the Shortys owners, edited the entire video in her apartment using an editing studio that she had never used before. Tony and Muska showed her a little bit about where to cut clips and where to splice them to make it look like a skateboard video, but all of the editing was done by her. Muska's first trick in Fulfil the Dream was a big 50-50. That 50-50 was actually meant to be his ender in Toy Machine's Welcome to Hell before his part got pulled. Actually, a lot of his footage from Welcome to Hell was taken and mixed and made into a new part for Fulfil the Dream. The video also features parts from Brandon Turner, Sammy Baptista, Aaron Snyder, Jessey Silve, Tone Nguyen, and standout parts from Steve Olsen and Peter Smolik. Shortys Guilty. In 2001, Shortys releases their second video, Guilty. It's edited and filmed by Eric Hatch. It features Chad Muska, Jessey Silve, Brandon Turner, Sammy Baptista, Tone Nguyen, and Steve Olsen. It's interesting to note that Chad Muska skates to his own music in this video part, Muska Beats. Take a listen, take a watch. An interesting fact is that Muska put all of his own money into making Muska Beats, from equipment to paying recording artists to all that kind of stuff. He has said that he put $1 million into that project. That ultimately, if we look over the interviews and over the numbers, it flopped because it was released at the same time that CDs were dying. He released a bunch of CDs across the world throughout skate shops to be sold while that industry was dying and MP3s and media was coming up. Matt Costa. Something people might not know is that the famous musician Matt Costa, he actually rode for Shortys for a while. You might know him from touring with Jack Johnson, Oasis, Death Cab for Cutie, or even Modest Mouse. But before his music career, he was actually an up-and-coming am skater for a while, and he had parts in so many different videos. Another crazy fact is that pro surfer Christian Fletcher actually used to ride for Shortys for a while. Shortys How to Go Pro. In 2005, Shortys puts out their video, How to Go Pro. It features parts from Andrew Pott, Brandon Turner, Fabrizio Santos, Sammy Baptista, Rodrigo Lima, Torey Pudwill, and Chad Muska. After falling out with Tony B, Muska decides to leave because he feels like he doesn't have creative control and he doesn't have as much input with the team. April Hamrick versus Shortys Inc. In May 6, 2004, April actually sued Shortys for breach of contract. Shortys Accessories. After Shortys' success in the hardware and the board game, they decided to expand their accessories. So they came out with Dodo bushings, Black Magic grip tape, Ghetto Child wheels, Black Panther bearings. They also made some pretty dope backpacks at one point. For the young guys who don't know, they actually had backpacks who had speakers built right in. This is before Bluetooth. So you would take your MP3 player or mini disc player, look up what that is, and you would plug an aux cord into your backpack, and then it would play speakers out the side of it. So you'd be that guy at the skate park. The end of Shortys. In 2011, Shortys announced that they would no longer be making skateboards. Tony had announced that making skateboards was done, but they'd still planned to move forward with hardware and accessories. But most people saw this as the death and the end of the brand. But to this day, Shortys is still making their accessories and a bunch of their retro apparel. And even after a while, they brought back boards. Tony said that he actually regretted saying that they were done making boards because most people thought that the brand was done forever. But really, they just wanted to focus on their hardware and their accessories because that's what made them famous in the beginning. Rest in peace, Tony Biolos. Tony B passed away March 10th of 2020. Tony's impact on skateboarding in the late 1990s and early 2000 era will not be forgotten. After his passing, there was multiple vigils held at the Second Baptist Church in Santa Barbara. You might recognize this church from some of the old Shortys videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Levi, this is Shred Shop. 14 things you didn't know about Shortys. Let us know below if you ever owned one of the OG Shortys t-shirts. We're talking S on both sleeves. Let us know below what brands we need to do 14 things about. As well, who was your favorite team rider for Shortys of all time? Talk soon.